Hello there. Sorry, girls, just fixing to readjust my camera from the last live. And now I'm crooked. So welcome back to the last live of the Naomi scrapbooking of the Great International Crafts Show Online number 21. I'm Naomi and I'm one of the brand ambassadors for Naomi Scrapbooking, which most of you would know. But, you know, we probably have some new people who haven't seen us before. So, hello, Joanne. How are you, lovely? Finishing tonight is the last of the specials. So if you haven't, if you've already taken advantage of some of the sales over the weekend, hi, Susan, you would have got a code which allows you to add to your order as many times as you like. And I've been known in the past, I have to admit, for doing not just multiple orders on different days, but multiple orders on the same day after watching Nat do a live. So there is no judgment, and that's why it's called no judgment postage. So what we have for the rest of the day is 15% off of the following patterned paper, all and create. That's everything from stamps to stencils to, whatever is all and create. Minte, 3/4 designs, 49 and market, simple stories, paper rose, and uniquely creative. And of course, there is the Black Friday sales section on the website, which I know you girls have been loving because some of the things that I was going to use have sold out. And also there's a 30% off anything Christmas. So make sure you have a look at that because, you know, we're heading into December. We're nearly there and there won't be any more Christmas stock coming in, I believe. So what's there is there and it is on special and 30% off is massive. So let's do an art journal page today. So I'm going to move this out the way. Now I am working and I'm going to try and work quickly because let's be honest, it's meant to be a mini live and a mini live means an hour in our terms. And I never do an hour because I just never get there. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm working in my Large Dilutions journal. And this is the journal that's got the plain, the black, and then the craft. Here's one I did last Christmas with this Tim Holtz tissue paper that I used earlier. And this is on special. So I used that on this craft last year. That's how long that one's been out for. All right. So I have pre-gessoed with clear gesso, and there's a hair in there, my page. So what I'm going to use tonight is I'm going to use this Tracy Scott stamp. Now, Tracy Scott is amazing. I haven't done classes with her personally. I've done some of her online classes with, and what she does with a colored pencil is absolutely amazing. I cannot replicate that, and I actually don't. That's not my style. I'll color in here and there, but I'm not really a color-innerer, if that's a word. I like my paint. So sometimes these stamps to me, I always think, oh, I can't get those stamps because I don't color in like Tracy Scott. Well, we can use them and I'm going to show you a way to do that today. So this is the TS092. It is on the Black Friday sale. So there's a big percentage off this one. I can't remember what it was, but it was something ridiculous like 40 something percent off. Red rubber stamps, which are great quality and like they're a good size. So I'm going to use that tonight and we're going to create a background. Now what I've done, I've got an idea in my head and I'm hoping that it plays out the way I want. I've got some watercolor cardstock here and I have stamped those 3 images on here. I'm going to use that later. What I've also done is I have stamped on this flower and these wreaths onto just some printer paper and I've cut them out because I'm going to mask those. Oh, hello, Tegan. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Linda. You're trying to do a second order, but you can't see the secret code for the postage. Yes. So look in your receipt in your emails when you did your first order, and there should be a code in there. Other than that, if you can't find it, you might have to send a message through to the page, but it should automatically go out with your first order that you got. Yes, add the code where it asks for the discount. Thank you, girls. Look at this community. You're all helping. Now, it's very hot here, so I'm going to have a bit of water through my live. And it's lovely to see our other brand ambassador, Tegan, here. She helped me along with answering things. Another thing that's in the specials is Nat's watercolors. So I'm going to use those. Hello, Miss Tina. Thank you, girls. These are a really simple watercolor, but they're very effective. You can mix and match, and these are really great. I take these when I travel because they just pack up like that. They do come with a watercolor brush. I've had mine for years, so mine have gone. All right, what I'm going to do now, I've got a few ideas here, is I'm going to put some blue paint on. So because I'm sitting here and I've got Dina Wakley next to me, I'm going to use some Dina Wakley. I'm going to use some ocean, some sky. I might use a bit of sapphire, and I might even use a little bit of Art by Marlene's Azure. So I'm using a dry brush, and I just need to find the type that I'm after. So I'm only doing one side of my page today because, you know, I won't keep in my time frames if I did 2 pages, because let's be honest, I'm not going to keep in my time frames anyway. Sorry, girls, I'm just trying to find my brush. It may be in the water. No, it's not in the water. Which brush? I have a certain brush I'm looking for. And there it is. That one should do me. Okay, so I'm using the Art by Marlene 18, and these are the flat brushes. 50% off the watercolors at the Black Friday sale. Yes, thank you, Tegan. All right, so I'm going to get a bit of paint down here. I'm only going to, I want to keep the craft. I'm using craft for a reason, and I want to keep the craft. So, oops, that was a lot. So I'm just going to start with a bit of strokes, a bit of brush strokes, dry brush, and I'm going to mix this up a little. And I'm not adding any water. So if you missed it earlier, I have pre-gessoed my page with clear Dina Wakley gesso. I'm going to add a little bit more of that. That's a beautiful colour, that ocean. And the reason I have pre-gessoed is because I'm going to use a bit of liquid. And I use clear gesso because I do want to keep that colour. I want to keep the craft. So your paints will be a little different. Now, this page is, I'll go over here. So there's a previous page I've done here, and I've obviously, my stencil has gone over there. And it's stuck to something as well. I'm going to add a bit of that azure in there. So I'm not wetting my brush because it helps the colours blend together when they're dry and they're next to each other. So these are all blues. So blues and greenies, kind of, azure is a bit of a green, isn't it? I'm going to go in with a bit more of that light colour. That's the sky. And because I've got those tones, sometimes you create a new colour. All right, now what I want to do is just go up there a little bit. All right, I hope everyone's surviving this heat that we've been having across Australia, I believe. Those of us who aren't more accustomed to it, like us Canberrians, although this is perfect weather for me, it's just, we got our little portable spa up today, so the kids were in it till 7 o'clock. It's not warm enough for me. I like my spa to be a good 30-something degrees, but the kids jumped in it. All right, I think I'm good with that. And I'm just going to pop that in there. Change my brushes and the location of my water. All right. All right, I'm going to dry that. So that was my base of my background. There's nothing secretive under this page. I'll even lift it up. It's a page I did earlier. I just don't want to get the other colour on there. So that's why I've covered it up. And I don't want you to focus on the pretty birds while I'm doing this. All right. So that gives me a good base. Linda, you should have an email confirmation. Your phone would be linked somehow to an email when you're ordering. So there will be an email that was set up whenever you've ordered the first time, and that's the email that you would get from Natalie May Scrapbooking for your confirmation. Hi, Michelle. Oh, Tina, that sounds terrible. Goodness me. 34 degrees in a shearing shed. You farmers just cop it all, don't you? All right. Now my idea is that I'm going to do some stamping. And I'm going to stamp multiple times. I'm going to use a stamp block. I'm just going to get this paint out the way. I don't have as much room as I normally do because I've got my big journal. All right, so I'm going to use archival ink and a clear acrylic block. So acrylic blocks are on the website if you don't have one, or you need a new one, or you need a different size. I couldn't for the life of me tell you where I got this one from, if it's Nat's, if it's an old one, I am not sure. All right, so I'm going to build up my background with some stamping, and I'm also going to do some masking. Let's see if it works out how it's in my head. All right. So far, so good. Now, there is stuff underneath. I'm just going to get a piece of cardboard because I've got pages I've done underneath, which obviously have a bit of body to them. It's a bit bumpy. So I'm just going to stretch that. That is a bit of a stretch. There we go. All right, so that will just make my surface a bit flatter. All right, now, so how do I mask and why do I mask? So what I'm going to do is these ones I've stamped earlier. I'm just going to get a piece of washi tape. And here's, so if everyone saw, yes, this morning I showed my 49 Market album that I did, which was those big picture albums. This is the washi tape that you get in it, and that's how much is left over, and I used it for every single page that it told me to. So really plenty of items there. So I've just stamped that on some printer paper, and I'm going to put this over here. Hi, Mona. Yes, it has been. Oh no, Michelle. I know hay fever's been going crazy for those suffering with hay fever as well with all this weather. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm using my mask and I'm popping it over there because I want to build on this. And the first, I'm going to build up my page. Now, I'll show you this when when I take it off, you'll see what I mean here. Okay, so what I need to do now is use a second mask, dry it because black archival ink takes a little bit to, it's juicy, so it needs to dry to make it permanent. I don't want that to move. And I'm going to get my second mask. So who's bought their own Christmas presents at the sales? That's what I normally do. I say to my husband, I'll just, there'll be a delivery coming. Can you just wrap it and put it under the tree? It's perfectly timed that these are in pre-Christmas. All right, so I've got that one there. Now, I'm just going to re-ink again because I think that may have dried a little bit. So this is how I'm going to build up my background. All right, now I'm just going to stop there for a minute with this one. And I'm going to grab my fish. And we'll grab that one too later. Oops, I put my fish away. So I'm using all but one of this stamp set, which is pretty good. I reckon if I can use Buying Hay for Christmas, Farmer's Girl, or the fun. Oh, hello, Emily. Hi, Chloe. Hi, Mary. Yes, me too, Alison. my husband's got a fetish, not a fetish. He's got a, what do you call it? When I realize I think I might need another mask, because I want to put this fish in here. I could possibly move that. Okay. My husband hates boxes because of my online shopping, which is mostly pizza boxes. But it's funny that our local fruit and farmers market that I buy our fruit and veggies from is online. They deliver online and they deliver in boxes as well. And he's like, oh, God, more boxes. So, yes, it's an ongoing joke. I'm like, I wish you would get rid of your boxes, babe. All right, so now I'm just trying to work out. I think my fish is backwards. I didn't think that through, did I? Okay, this is how I'm going to pivot, because my fish is not the way I thought it was. I didn't even look at that. So the fish is facing that way. So if I stamp it, it's going to be going that way. I don't want it. I was planning on it going that way. That's all right. Let's pivot and fix that. So I was going to do my reeds going out like that. They're now going to go like that. So take 2. I'm going to start from the other side of the page. And I might, now this is going to be a little bit difficult, the first one. I'm going to move it over a little bit because I've got my book. Hi, Daphne. Oh, excellent, Michelle. You do you, lovely. All right, so I do need to push that down a little bit. And I'm going to do this one here. That was a nice, look how crisp that stamps. So nice. Right, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move this, dry that first. Oh, I agree, Chloe. And my little one loves it when I get a delivery too, because he knows if it's he says, Mum, is that from Natalie? Is that from Natalie? Do I have a lollipop in there? So he knows that there's lollipops in Natalie's orders. All right, so pop that there. We'll try this again, shall we? Do my second one. And then I'll move my book back over because it's not centre, so I've lost half of my working space. But, you know, that just works because I can now put the fish where I actually wanted it. These red rubber stamps are just delightful. All right, so I'm going to dry that. So far, what I had in my head, although I've had to pivot, it's still coming along. It's likely to turn, don't worry. It never comes out the way I'd planned it, but it doesn't mean I don't like the way it comes out. All right. If you don't like it, it's not finished. All right, so I'm going to mask that one off. So is everyone all inspired to do Christmas creating? I have to say, I don't think I've seen a Christmas, I don't think I've seen Nat do quite as many Christmassy things as she's done this time. So that was music to my ears. Now that's warping a little bit, so, and I don't want, where's my tape? I don't want it to move, so I'm going to put a little bit more tape. And the reason I'm using washi tape is because washi tape's low tacky, so you can just lift it off your projects nice and easily. That should be okay. All right, fish. Take 2 with the fish. And this fish is gorgeous now. I need to make sure that's the right way up. I normally write on the back of my stamps which way is the right way up. So because it's a brand new stamp that I've had around for a couple of weeks, I haven't used it yet. I haven't got to that yet. Oh, looky here, Karen Campbell. How are you? You caught me. You caught me. I'm back to my nighttime crafting. Hello, Taryn. You've been busy, Tina. I know, it's hard when they're in the day, isn't it? So, now that didn't stamp quite. That's okay. We'll go with that one. I've got a plan for that one anyway. All right. I'm going to add, now I do need to add my fish to a piece of printer paper, which I didn't do. Let me grab a piece of printer paper. All right. You loved all the mini lives this weekend. Oh, thank you, Michelle. And look, like, you know, I get inspired by Nat every time she does these. So, you know, it's nice to get ideas, and we're all inspired by different people. And, oh yeah, you know, you get your inspiration from strange places. I have to tell you, one of my favorite stencils I did for Nat, was, and sorry girls, you're going to have to watch me fussy cut this. It won't be a detailed job. I hate fussy cutting. One of the stencils that I designed last year, I think it was, for Nat, my inspiration came off a basket that is in my craft room. And it's one of my favorite stencils, and I think it's actually sold out, but it's called Twisted Yarn. I know it's one of Tegan's favorite stencils as well. But yeah, inspiration comes from like many different places. But yeah, it was literally one of those a cube box that's in my IKEA cubes in my craft room. And it's a cane one, so it's got a bit of a pattern to it. And yeah, that's what it reminded me of. So I replicated that pattern onto a stencil, and I love it. But yeah, I think it's I think that one's sold out. And I know even Claire likes that one. I've seen a few of Claire's projects that she's had it in there too. So yeah, inspiration comes from random places. Sometimes someone's doing something and you go, oh, I don't have that product, but I've got another product that's very similar that I could create this with. And, you know, that's where you have a go, get an idea and go from there. Oh, thanks, Karen. All right. As I said, watching me fussy cut is not the fun part, but it'll be worth it in the end. So I'm using my stamps to build a background, which is a bit unusual for me. I don't normally do that, but because this is it's got such cool elements in these stamps, and I will not be using colored pencils, girls. I'm just putting it right out there right now. I'll be using the watercolor paints. And guess what? I'll also be using some magicals. Oh, am I? No. I don't know. I might be using both. I've got two magicals here for my fish, for one of my fishes. We'll see how I go with the watercolor. We'll see how I go when I build it. Now, my idea for this page was actually using the Tracy Scott stamp that Nat used the other day, the mechanical flowers one. Now, I was going to do exactly what Nat did. Painty background, stamp onto it, put my cluster of flowers here on this page. So when Nat used it, and we hadn't talked, we hadn't spoken at all. Oh, hello, Susan Bellamy. Not late at all, my friend. And I think I just missed a couple more. Let me just have a look. Loving the magicals. Yes, me too. Oh, okay. You got one on Thursday. Okay, maybe it's not sold out. There we go. Tegan might check that if she's still around. But anyway. All right, so I've masked that fish off, and he's not stamped properly, but that's okay. All right, I'm just going to continue. I'm nearly finished building this background, so I'm just going to, and you'll notice I'm putting my stamp diagonal on here, and that's because it doesn't fit. But I don't want to use my bigger one because it's too big. All right, so I'm just going to go here. And then I'll move this one. So can you see what I'm doing? By putting the mask in on there, it doesn't just stamp over the top of your stamping. It makes it look like it's See here, it makes it look like it's behind. And where it's missed, that's okay. I'll just fix that up with a black pen. So I'll just pop that there. And I'm just bringing this down. And I'll move this one. And move that fish. And pop this one over here. And I'll move this one over. Have to dry that. Oh yeah, they'll be on the Facebook page, Linda. Or I think Nat's going to upload them to YouTube if you prefer to watch them there. But because it only happened the other day, that you should be able to find them nice and easy. All right, so let's take those off. Clean that because I'm a cleaner. Here we go. So I won't throw those out just yet. So I've got a little bit in there that I'll need to fix up, but that's okay. That's looking pretty good. Let me set that. Oh, thanks, Bronwyn. And hello. You got the Life of Colour paint pens for your little girl. Oh. Oh, teacher said she's not allowed to use them. Is it because it's acrylic paint? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're... There you go. As in her teacher, you? No. Her. All right. So next what I'm going to do is build on these bits here. So I don't want them just to end with brush strokes. So that means I'm going to get a stencil out. And I think I'm going to use a stencil that I haven't used for a while. And it's going to be a Nat May one. So... might not even be in this one. I'm thinking I'm going to need that dots. Oh, thanks, Tegan. Have a good night. All right. It is not in this book. All right. It's in here. I'm looking for the rainbow. That's the one. The rainbow background, which I always think it looks like mermaid scales or waves. So I'm going to go with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a sponge, which I need to cut the top off. Oh, thanks, Chloe. Yeah, as soon as I saw those reeves, I'm like, oh, I need to mask those and build on them. And then we'll colour them in shortly. All right, so I'm going to use the lighter colour, and I'm going to use the sky. So let me just move that back over here. And I've got my... running out a little bit out of space here. All right, so I'll just put this on here. I've got this big thing to hold my phone, so I'm going to have to put this over here. Nope. I'm just going to use my mat, my Lindy's mat. All right. So I've just got a makeup sponge and I'm not putting too much on. You see, I'm putting my sponge into the paint and then I'm dabbing it off and making sure it's really in there and it's on there, not just sitting on top. This side around. All right, let's see how it's looking. Yeah. I think I might need to use a different one for the edging. So I'm going to bring this down here a little. And a little up there. So that gives me a little bit of a wave to my water, a bit of interest to my water. It's not the effect I was after though, up the edge. So what I'm going to do is, you know what, I think I'm actually going to use a stamp up there because what I want is to hide those edges. Actually, no, I know the stamp. It is hard work, isn't it? Oh, the online teacher. Oh, I see, Chloe. Oh, that's disappointing. Okay. I've worked out what I'm doing. I'm going to use this one. Yep, I'm going to use this one. I've got that idea off Nat. Right, I'm going to go with a darker colour. And I'm probably going to go with, I might even add that azure in with that there. And then I'll get the malachite back. So often to blend those edges, I often do use a stamp. But I reckon that this will give me the effect I'm after. Yep, it's going to. Okay. And I'm just going to go over here as well. So I'm blending that edge in there. So now I'm going to get the malachite. No, is it malachite? Sapphire. Getting them mixed up. The sapphire. I'm just going to add a bit of that depth in there. And I'm not even cleaning my brush, sponge. And I'm then going to offset that. So I don't actually care what the words say. I'm going for the look that it's giving me. So we're just blending those brush strokes in. So see, they're not there as much. And I'm just going to come down here a little bit, although I'll probably hide this. Just add a little bit in there. Just to blend that in with the rest of the page. There we go. That's what I was after. Yeah, just giving my stencil a bit of a nice clean. It is so hot here that that's drying almost immediately on my stencil. And I hate having messy stencils. All right, that's enough. All right, are my no. So my stencils are kept in a A5 folder. Nat stencils are all A5. I do have A4 folders for my Dina Wakley, my Art by Marlene ones. I keep them in the same type of folder that I just had, but these ones they're just from Officeworks and they're an A5 folder and they're perfect for Nat stencils. I've also got Funky Fossil ones in one of these as well. It's a very good way. I got that idea off Nat. So yes, I love that. I always love good storage ideas. All right. I'm going to bring in a bit of white now. So I'm going to use my lace from Art by Marlene. And I'm just going to use some of these, the double dot stencil. And I'll get a new white sponge. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of that. I'm trying to avoid my stamping. And I might even do a little bit up here. And a little bit in there just to use up all that paint. All right, putting that aside. Okay, what I'm going to do now is grab a baby wipe first so I can clean this mess up. Oh, it's great, isn't it, Alison? I think Tegan does the same thing, and I think Jackie also does. All right, what else do I want to bit in there? I really want to do some splatters, but I don't want to put splatters over these just yet. So my splatters will be at the end. I'm not really sure if that fish is going to stay like that, but we'll see. All right, I'm going to get, I just realised I forgot to do that other flower, but that's okay. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start colouring these. Now, let's see how. I'm not sure how it's going to go, so let's do a trial and error. I've put so many things out on my desk, I can't find my watercolours. I'm not sure how my watercolours are going to go over here now that I've got acrylic. I didn't think that out. I wasn't going to put the acrylic in the background in the first place. But let's have a go and see how we go here. So what I do with these watercolours is I just grab a watercolour brush. And I'm using the Uniquely Creative brush tonight. And I'm activating my water. Uniquely Creative brushes are part of the 15% off. So I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with a bit of this green. So I'm just making it in my little tin over here. And I'm going to move this out the way now because I don't need that. And it's just creating extra clutter. And I'll put my bulldog clips away. All right. Yeah, it will, Chloe. I went through a lot of storage options before I came to this too. So you build your colour on here, and I'm thinking I might mix those greens and create a bit of a different one. Now, if that doesn't work, if this doesn't work, and I think it won't. Ooh, I know up here will. Yeah, okay, we're going to go with it. I wanted the watery look to that. So let's go with it. Now, I've just realised I don't want those to be green. So I can just wipe them off because I've gessoed. I wanted these leaves to be green. Now, what they're going to be, I'm going to make those a bit of a goldy colour, I think. So that'll be a different product to get out. So obviously that blue's going to come through a bit more. I could go in and put some gesso underneath, but look, I'm okay. I'm okay with this. It's a greeny blue. It all blends in together. And look, it's under the water. So, and I'm not being pedantic with my brush strokes. I'm just getting in there with a bit of colour. I'm going to need to make some more of that paint up. So a bit more liquid. So these are really nice price point. 50% off, I think Tegan said. I don't think she said what price it was though. Or did she say $9.95? Oh, Susan, you've got 7. What other brand stencils do you keep in them, Susan? If you've got 7, I've got Funky Fossil and I've got all of Natalie May's. So, and it doesn't fill 2 of those. I've got Funky Fossil. I don't know what else I've got. What else fits in there? Please enlighten us. So I'm loving that I've just made up a different color, and it's a different shade of green as well. So you'll just have to bear with me watching me paint these bits, because and I'm not too concerned about that the missing stamping down there. I can tidy that up at the end. And I'm also not too concerned, as you can probably see, about going outside the lines. You could, if you were a colorinering, I think I've just made up a word there. If you were colouring in with pencils, obviously this would be more precise, but yes, I'm not a pencil colorinera. So, which we've already established that. Yeah, I'm getting a bit confused as to where my wreaths are going here. Like that. Got a few there. And then down there. So I actually like that watercolor over the acrylic. I didn't think that would be quite pigmented enough, but it's actually looking really good. I don't know if you guys can see it. Fandoms. Oh, randoms. You're on your 3rd for Nats. How are you on your 3rd for Nats? Maybe I don't have... I mustn't have them all. 3rd for Nats. Paper Rose. Oh, yeah. Okay. I've... My Paper Rose, yeah, are in a different cupboard. They're in the Nat doesn't stock them. No, Nat doesn't have them in stock anymore cupboard. All right, so I've got another colour going on there now. So who would have thought that watercolour paint, a good old cheap $10, and it's not cheap and nasty, it's just really good price point, basic watercolours. So if you're looking for a decent watercolour for kids or beginners, so if you want to try watercolouring, I found watercolours quite daunting when I first started mixed media. I had no idea how to get the looks that, I don't know if anyone's seen Marlene do watercolour painting. Like, she's amazing with her watercolours. And I was like, I have no idea how to get that effect. No idea at all. All right, so now I'm just going to build up here. Now that that's dried a little. Oh, you did mean randoms. Was that just a typo? Or have I missed another saying? I have to keep asking my kids, what does that mean? Oh, yeah, I've got all Claire's too. Have you done them double-sided like me? Maybe you can get different size ones. Mine seem to hold a fair bit, and I haven't even filled my second one with Nat's ones yet. But yes, Funky Fossil, and the new Paper Artsy mini ones that I did get a couple of the mini ones. They've just started bringing out mini stencils. They fit probably 2 in each one. So girls, has anybody... You made a mess with dinner, that's why Susan was late. Oh dear, Terry. She had to come to the rescue, did she? Or you made a mess so she had to wait for dinner? So who has got themselves an advent calendar? I know there's a few around, and obviously I've got the Art by Marlene one, which I get every year. I was also tempted to get myself a Billison's vodka one as well, but I didn't. I refrained. I thought, no, you've already got a advent calendar that's probably twice as much as the kids' ones cost. All right, I'm just adding a bit more to that, although it's worked out much better than I thought. So just adding a little bit down there, not that one, on those big leaves. So because I've used archival ink, it's not covering up my stamping when I'm putting watercolors on there. So my original idea, I wasn't going to go with that blue in the background. So I've changed it on myself. Anyway, so I'm just going to fill in down here a little. Bit splodgy. Oh, hang on. Now I've just got to scroll back up because I asked a question and I've missed all the... You've got the Art by Marlene one. Is that your first Art by Marlene one, Michelle? You got a Cadbury Adventure one. Oh, I like the sound of that, Sarah. I'm all about Cadbury's. You got the Marlene one? Yes. Terry's part of the community, the community family. He likes to hear me and Nat banging on lives. You haven't been able to make your mind up yet, Chloe. That's okay because, you know, there's a lot out there. Now I am going to, no, I'm not going to do brown on there. I'm going to get the gold. So there's 2 ways I could do this gold. And I think I'm going to have to go with, Marlene's gold and see how we go. I do have a gold Life of Colour pen, the mirror effect pens, but I think it would be a bit too much. You have the Art by Marlene one. I thought you would, Susan. I know that there's others around, and obviously there's non-crafting ones. So my boys, thankfully none of them are on Facebook, so I can say what they're getting. They're going to get I have elves on the shelf in my house, which my little one, obviously being 5, is right into this year. So our elves bring a 1st of December box with their Christmas jammies and stuff in, so we don't waste the whole. They can wear them all December, and they bring their advent calendars. So my older boy is into fishing. So I found, and I just realised I need to dry this because I'm going to put my hand in it. So he's getting a fishing lure one. You got last year's as well, but in January when Nat got them... Oh, just going to check when Nat got the second order. Yeah, I loved last year's too. I got the year before as well, but last year's was definitely, it's definitely one to beat. Terry gets all the Facebook notifications because he does buy gift vouchers regularly at Christmas and in April. I wonder who for. I have no idea. Oh yeah. I've seen those, Mel, Uniquely Creative. Poached eggs. Oh dear. Oh, sorry, Terry. I had to laugh at that. Oh yeah. That gold is beautiful. And that gold on the craft is lovely. So that is the gold plated art by Marlene paint, which you can buy separately. Yes, I know Uniquely Creative do their own, but that's okay. I'm asking about advent calendars in general. She doesn't sell Cadbury's ones either, so that's okay. But yeah, Nat is a big supporter of Uniquely Creative, and I know they do their advent calendars through their own website. So, oh, you got a few older ones. Well, that's pretty lucky because I know that they were hard to get. You make up your own for the rest of the family. You've done them. Oh, that's nice. So I have, before I started art journaling, when I was still just scrapbooking, I made my boys a Kezia Craft wooden, well, sorry, my first boy, who's 14, a Kezia Craft wooden advent calendar. And I made this beautiful little thing. So it gets filled with chocolates by the elves every 1st of December. But I'm a big Christmas nut, so I also buy them. I used to get my older boy the Lego one as well, and that's just morphed into a fishing one. The little one is getting and he's got his own advent calendar that I made as well. And I've also made one for all my nieces and nephews, and there's 5 of them, plus I think a couple of the others have got them as well. My little one, we went on a cruise last Christmas, and there were cruise ducks, and there was also vending arcade machines where you could, play video games and stuff. And between the 2 boys, they got a gift card for money to spend for Christmas on these arcades on the cruise. And we came home with about 40 rubber ducks. And they've come out today because the spa's up, our portable spa's up, and the ducks are all in the spa. And my little one, he just loves them. He just plays with the ducks all the time. So he's getting a duck advent calendar. I saw them last year and they were about $50, and I thought, I'm not paying $50 for a rubber duck advent calendar, but I managed to get one for $20 this year. So he will love that. I got him what do you call them? The Lego ones last year, and he lost interest. He was a bit too little for them. So I'm just doing a second coat just to make that gold come out. Yeah. So I filled, when my little one was little, I got the little Thomas. I didn't want to put chocolate in there for him, so I got the little mini Thomas the Tank Engine trains that came out. So I think they were $1 each, and they ended up, he ended up getting a whole heap of trains. And I know, oh yes, the advent calendar from Art by Marlene is worth it. So last year we got the tin that it comes in, which is great. I'll show you last year's, while we're talking advent calendars. So last year's advent calendar. So this is day 1 from last year. And you get the tin. So, and in the, I keep my these things, the Art by Marlene things in those. It's a great little tin just to put things in. It also came in a box. So you would have seen Marlene bought out boxes that you could decorate, which I have done. Now, don't mind the things on top of mine. Actually, I'll move them out the way. Oh, didn't see that photo there. So this is last year's, and it's actually, this is where I keep all my, the gold does look good, doesn't it? Thanks, Alison. This is where I keep all my blending tools. So I'm so excited that we get another one this year. And then we also had the ones that she bought out, which you could decorate yourself. These sit under a table, so you don't see the top of mine. But I decorated this, and this is where my Art by Marlene markers go. So I have these on my desk, so I'll have to make a new little space for my new one that this year's is in. I think it's a great idea. All right, so did I miss anything? Yeah, you could get something and put little Matchbox cars in. You could even make, I think one year someone bought out a little DIY envelope, and you could just hang 24 envelopes on a string. I know someone's done that before. Make up your own envelopes and put a little thing in them for each day. All right. I love that gold on there. Nearly there. How long have I been going? Well, I've been going an hour. Shock me. Okay, I'm nearly there. So what I want to do now is I might do my splatters on here. I think I'm not going to worry. What am I going to do with that fish? Because I put it there. All right, I'm going to do the fish. And I'm going to do the fish with some Lindy's. So I've got Yellow Tang Yellow and Cafe Terrace Tangerine. And I'm just going to do that quickly. And then I'm going to splatter that page and put them off to the side to do my other fish. So I don't want to use too much, so I'm just putting it on my mat. And these were just the colours that I wanted to use. So out of my Lindy set, you could use any, but this one's a good punchy yellow. I was nearly going to use Nat's ones, but it was a little bit fluoro for what I wanted. So I'm not putting too much liquid in there. And I'm just going to get, now this yellow is not going to come out too well, but I'm just going to get a little bit of colour in there because this fish is going to go in the background anyway. And that shimmer is probably going to sit on top there. Oh, thanks, girls. Now, that tangerine did not work well. I'm just going to shake that a bit. Or it's not the colour I thought it was. I don't think that's going to be what I want. I should have gone to my swatches. All right, we'll just go with it. So I'm just going to fill that in. Again, we've got Magicals on blue acrylic paint. So, but this is going to be a background. So I'm just going to use that rest of that. My other fish is going to go on top. So I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, that's a bit of a different, I'll just join those together because that yellow is real punchy and the orange is not. So I'm just going to join those together. And there's a shimmer in those. They're both shimmery ones. And just add a bit back there. Now I'm trying not to let that go where I don't want it. Now, I'm going to dry that, and then I'll add a bit of redness to the lips. Now, before I do that, yes, you've picked me like a dirty nose, Chloe. I am going to fussy cut that other fish out once I've coloured it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make that fish my focal point. Oh, that sounds amazing, Michelle. We don't do a big Easter. I'm the Christmas, well, me, my sister-in-law, we're all the Christmas crazies here. So, you know, each to their own, whatever you celebrate and whatever you choose to find joy out of in life is what I say. I'm just going to dry that off. There's a little bit of powder on there, but that's okay. It's just a background fish. So that was the reason for doing that. I just wanted to have a fish in the background. And that's kind of dried really chalky, so that kind of looks cool. I will re-outline. I'm going to get a little bit of, I need a red. I need some reddy. I'm going to go with whatever red I see first, which is Trust the Process Red, which is Nat's first set of Magicals. And it's a real punchy red. Now, because I don't need too much, I've got a wet brush. It's not dripping wet, but it's wet. I'm just going, there's a drip there. Just going to tap my brush into that Magical. You've got to make sure that if you do that, oh, that's nice. You spoil your sister's kids. So yeah, you got to make sure if you're dipping into the Magical tub that you're not going to drip into, oh, that's deep. You're not going to drip into the tub because then you'll get a little pool there. That is really deep. I'm going to leave that there and I'm going to wash that down. Now it looks like there's blood over here, right? All right, that's good enough. So I'm thinking I'm going to do 2 splatters for this, and I'm nearly there. I've only got my focal point and my splatters to go, I think. I say that now, but, you know, I might change my mind. So I think I'm going to do a gold splatter as well as a white splatter. And I'm going to have to add a bit of detailing down the bottom as well. And a teeny more bit of mark making. I might do some stamping first, actually. Sorry. All right. I had to make sure that was really dry. And I'm going to use one of my new Nat May stamps. You know what? I'm going to use the dots. I'm going to bring in these dots, a few dots of different shapes. And my ink is here. You should see my desk. It is a pigsty. All right. So what I like about these is I can just stick them on the back of my finger. So I'm going to connect my dots here to my stenciling there. I'm also going to add a little bit in down here, a little bit down here, and down here. And then I'm going to connect some up there. Yep, that will do for that one. And then I'm going to change size of dots and go with these slightly smaller ones and just stamp. I'm only using a little bit of the stamp just stamp next to them. I am going to use those. I'm not going to do it with that fish. Oh, maybe I will. Got some bubbles coming out of its mouth. I'm going to use that later for the next fish. So we'll move that out the side. Move my magicals. And let's create a wash with the gold and the white. So I'm going to start with the lace. And I'm just going to grab my watercolor brush, bit of water, make that nice and liquidy. Now, I do have a little fan brush. Where's my little fan brush? Nat sells this really cute little fan brush. Well, she did. Not sure if she still does. Might have sold out. But the fan brush gives a bit of a different effect than a normal brush does. And you will get it everywhere. It's really easy to splatter, and I'm not really doing much here to it. As you can see, that's gone everywhere. And then I'm not even going to dry that. I'm going to grab the gold and do the same thing. So you don't need too much paint. Oh, let me see. Sorry girls, I've got so involved in what I'm doing. I haven't had a chance to use that stamp set, but I love it. Yeah, I do too, Michelle. It's amazing. You don't do much for Christmas anymore. You usually go out for lunch weekend before and exchange gifts then. Okay. That makes it difficult, doesn't it? Yes, I've got nurses in my family, so we know about shift workers and having to work at Christmas and us working around them for Christmas. So that's it's nice, but it makes it hard. So all right, so I'm now just adding the gold to it, and that will just bring, oops, got a bit of gold on that page now. That just brings the rest of that gold, it ties it in with the page as well. All right, so let's move that off and let's bring in my focal points, which I've now decided just right now on the spot that I'm going to use watercolor on these. So I've stamped these on watercolor paper, and I'm going to use this watercolor set. They are juicy, and the color that I got out just wasn't what I was wanting. I do have plenty of others, but I'm not going to make you girls sit here, and Terry, if he's still eavesdropping, sit here and watch me look for that. So let's start with my fish. So I'm going to get my watercolor brush, and I think I'm going to go in, I'm going to start with the yellow, and I haven't activated my watercolors. All right. Now, because this is on watercolor cardstock, I should get a bit more of a flow, and I should be able to do a bit more of a blend with my colors on the paper as I'm doing that. So if I move quickly enough, yeah. if I go back in with the yellow and blend that darker colour out, it blends it a bit. So I actually learnt that from Tracy Scott with colouring pencils, but the same thing applies with liquid. So I'm going to do that again with these outer fins. Are they all fins? I think they're all fins. There's a very finny fish. So I'm going in with my lighter colour. And it doesn't matter if I go out of the lines because I'm going to... And then I'm going to go in with my darker colour at one end. And I'm only really touching my brush on there. I'm really not putting much to it. The water's doing the work on the watercolour, and that's the difference in watercolour paper. And then I'm cleaning my brush and I'm going back into my lighter colour, and I'm just bringing that darker colour out, but with the lighter colour on my brush, if that makes sense. Oh, yeah, police officers, emergency services. So yes, I'm sure they're used to it. We had 3 nurses. My mum's a nurse. My uncle's a nurse. His wife's a nurse. No, uncle was, a paramedic. His wife was a nurse, and one of their sons was a chef. So we always had to, work around the shift workers. But, if you get your day, it doesn't really matter when you celebrate it. I suppose it's just a bit harder when the kids are little. So, yes, Karen, it's a bit harder when mum and dad aren't there for, Santa and that sort of thing. All right, so doing that same thing there. And I think I'm running out of yellow. And I'm bringing that back forward. So it gives a really nice blend. So these are really nice pigment. Your mum was a nurse too, yeah. I'm shocked that me, my brother and my sister, I learned to do it with Prismacolor pencils. I've been able to get it. Yeah, that's where I saw what Tracy did with the Prismacolor. That's where I learned it from. She does the same thing with her Prismacolor pencils and going over with the light. So I've just done it with the watercolors, and I do it with magicals as well. All right, so now I'm going to go a bit more of a pink. So I'm going to start with white. And I just realised there's yellow there in my tin. I could do this on my mat, actually. All right. So you need to make sure that your paints are all juicy. Lots of water. Probably put a bit too much red there. That's okay. We can make it. And if I add a little bit of that orange over here. Like that too. I've got a bit of a coral colour. All right, I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to leave that middle section white. So, yeah, it's a good idea to invest in or buy a packet of watercolour paper if you're going to use watercolours, because it's definitely worth it. That's right, Susan. It's definitely the substrate. So if you're going to, I feel like I want a bit more water with that. If you're going to, nope, don't want a bit more water. yeah, if you're gonna use normal, you just don't get the flow with normal journal or papers that you would with watercolor. And that's why I wanted to add this as a focal point, because I can cut it out and add it to my page. So I've now just got a plain water brush, like there's no water on, there's just water on it. And I'm just going to pull those colors back just to make a bit of an ombre effect. And that one's run a bit, but that's okay. We'll just go with it. And then I'm actually going to use a touch of purple. I wonder if that's going to... not sure about that. All right. Let's just go for it. I am going to leave... Oh, I don't know if I like that. Got rid of that. All right. I might try... No, I don't want blue. I might go just straight orange, actually. I'm just filling this in. And what I'll do is I'll go back in later and add the white dot in the fish with a pen. All right. So that was nice and easy. So we'll just grab a bit of this for that cheek and a bit of that hot, and a bit of that for the lips too. Super cute fish. All right, while we're going with that, and I've got a mess here. Where did I put the rest of them? Okay, my dragonfly. Same thing. I am going to go with the purple this time. Oh, is it a purple? It might be a bit of a blue. Oh yeah, it's a bit of a royal blue. I'm going to put that as the middle part of his body. And then I'm going to go with yellow. These are super pigmented for, you know, a basic pack. Now, I'm going to try with a bit of that blue. Nope. Wipe that up. I'll go back with the orange. Back with the orange. Just give him a bit of something. All right. Now this one. So this one I am going to go. Now this is going to stand out. So I do want, I'm just looking where my background is. I think I'm going to go with this purpley blue. I think it's more of a blue. Now if I grab a bit plain water now and then just bring the water down, we've got, it gives you the water, it gives you a watercolor effect. So the middle of our flower, more water. A red dragonfly. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen a red dragonfly. My kids would have loved that. All right, and I'll keep going with this depth, and I'm going to keep the white there. So I'm just doing this blue right where the marks are. And then plain brush, a clean brush with just water, and bringing it down. And I've kept the white there, and then just because, you know, we're back in the ocean, I'm going to go with this lighter green to start with. I need a lot more water there. I'm nearly there. I've gone well and truly over. Goodness me. Still watching me? Yep. Still got some of you watching me. And then I'm going to tap that dark onto the end, the darker green. A little bit down there. And then I'll just bring it up. There we go. So let's clean that up, dry that off, cut that out, and then we'll finish off. And then I'll have to come up with some sort of title. Right, thank God these aren't very hard to cut. I love dragonflies too, for some reason. Especially my art journals. I love a good dragonfly stamp. This one's obviously tiny. So as it's drying, you can still see I've got my ink still coming through. So the watercolours aren't overtaking the archival ink. It's good to dry the fibres from the back. Yeah. Thanks, Alison. I will be super speedy for the next bit, I promise, because I do need to go and make sure my older boy's got his stuff sorted for school, because no doubt he's still on his PlayStation. Good thing he only does half a day. What's that just above my scissors? This white thing? Oh, this is just my this holds my phone. It's just the phone holder. If that's what you were talking about. But if you're talking about what was in there, that was part of one of the testers of the baubles I did in the session earlier this morning. So if you want to have a look at that, go back and watch that on the Facebook page. So this morning's sessions, we made some Christmas tags with Lindy's Magicals, and that is just one of the samples that I didn't finish. All right. So a little tip that Miss Karsha taught us when we're fussy cutting, and honestly, I hate fussy cutting. Have I mentioned I hate fussy cutting? I think I have 1,000 times. Is to move your page, your paper with you. So don't move your scissors, like don't change the direction of your arm and your scissors. You change the direction of your paper. And I think that's a really good tip. Have you seen Karsha's cutting? Like, she's so even with her border around the edge. It's like a machine did it. I should ask her if her machine did it. But I think she's a fussy cutting lover. Okay, Michelle. Thanks for joining me. You've got the majority of it, so you'll see the end result. And watch it at any time. All right, nearly there. The thins are actually not too bad because you can cut them in nice and easy. And hopefully, because I'm sweating up a storm, I always turn my aircon off when the little one goes to bed, so he doesn't have the aircon right on him while he's trying to sleep. But when I shut my craft room door, it is a little bit hot. All right, on the home stretch, but hopefully the page on the floor is nice and dry because it is hot in here. This flower is beautiful. Not sure where I'm going to put it, but it is beautiful. They are quite easy stamps to cut out too. And yeah, so, you know, that's one stamp. I could think of a heap of different things to do with this stamp. And that's what I like to do when I buy a stamp is what can I do? What different things can I do and which ways can I use it? So the wreaths in this one could easily go with a bunch of flowers. Obviously, I haven't used the lily that was in it either. You could make a bunch of flowers out of that one and, you know, do a flower page or a flower vase of flowers. You could do a whole fish bowl with the fish, do a whole range of different fish. Thanks, Michelle. I don't think my fussy cutting is, but thank you. I probably don't think it is because I don't like doing it. Yeah. And I know it's the boring part of watching someone do it on a live. So I try to pre-cut where I can, but I just ran out of time today. And I also wanted to, it's easier to colour if you're using watercolours or magicals, anything liquid based. It's easier to colour your stamps when they're still as one. If you watched me this morning, you would have seen that although I didn't use watercolour papers, my little D images were flopping all over the place because they were wet and I'd already cut them out. So, all right, nearly there, girls. This is not a mini free live. This is a bit of an epic one, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, let's bring this back up. And you know what? It is pretty dry. Actually, it is nearly completely dry. I just need to give a little hit up there. There's a few spots. And they're just being really stubborn spots, so I'm just going to get rid of them. There's one down here too. All right, so this fish is going to go probably here, I think. So I'm just going to use my sticky glue, pop that on. Just want to hold that down with a little bit of pressure until it starts to take. Thanks, Susan. I love them too. So if I wasn't doing a live, I'd be watching a live. Or I'd be catching up on Claire's classes because I'm a little bit behind. I think I did August. Maybe I did October. No. Maybe I did September. Anyway, I did one the other day. All right, so that's set there. And this one, I think I'm going to put this over here, just coming off the page. Yeah. It's a real connecting. Oh, I'm glad you learn a lot from them. And, you know, even if you don't learn things, you can be inspired, like, to create something or get an idea from, you know, one thing or another. Or you might go, oh, you know, I've got that gold and I never use it. That looks really good on there. I might use my gold. You know, things like that. Yeah, my little dragonfly. He's going to go up here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do now is, while I'm holding that one down, is grab my pen, which is somewhere here. Oh, it's right in front of me. Just got to hold those down a little bit more. Make sure they stick. So the watercolor paper takes a little bit more to stick down because it is a bit thicker. All right, so what I'm now going to do is I'm just going to give a little bit of, I'm not doing them all. I'm just going to go over a couple of these front ones. And I'm not even following some of the lines. So I'm just going to bring them a bit more forward. And that will probably, yep, that will do me. So I just wanted to bring those a little bit more forward. I am going to use a bit of a Stabilo. Oh, I'm glad, Carmel. I'm glad you've, and I hope you're feeling better after your operation. But I'm glad you've got something. There's nothing. I got to watch Nat. Nat was doing one of these when I had COVID in 2021, and I had no energy to do anything, at all. So I literally just sat there and watched Nat. So what I'm doing is doing a shadow here. So where it's underneath, and then I'm just going to grab my watercolor brush. One that's got water in it would be ideal. No, apparently all the water's dried up. Oh, here's one. This one. All right, just a watercolor brush, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a shadow. I might need to add a bit more glue under there. So I'm just activating it just to make that fish pop out a little bit. Activate. So a bit of a shadow. So that is a Stabilo All pencil, a black one, and they are much bigger than that normally, so don't fret, but I use them right down to the end because they're a water activated. They're permanent once they're on there, and gives them a bit of a shadow. All right, finishing off. So I wanted to put a couple of bubbles. Now, this stamp, I'm actually thinking I'm going to put some white bubbles coming out of this fish's mouth. So I'm just going to use a bit of the lace. And I'm just going to rub my finger in it like that. Tap my stamp in. And then put those bubbles up there. Might get them a little bit closer to his mouth. That's a lot of bubbles. And see the black one, the back one's got black. Now make sure if you're using paint on your stamps that you wipe them off straight away. I wipe mine off straight away anyway, but some people don't. Which is fine, but paint you must. Yeah, the shadow really brings them out a bit. And I'll just wipe that up. Now, I am going to have to add a bit more glue under his tail there. And I think it's because it's on the magicals that haven't quite set. Okay, so now there's a lot there. And then I'm going to get my black marker, duo marker, my Art by Marlene duo marker for my quote. I need a quote. Can someone give me a quote? Because I don't want to have to think about a quote. Something about under the sea. Being free under the sea, something like that. Oh, my duo markers are in. Oh, thanks, Alison. If you need to go to bed, sweetheart, off you go. I'm only going to add a quote now and probably just a border. All right, so that is the magicals. That's doing that. All right, what am I going to do? I could do a Little Mermaid quote. Life is better under the sea. Who's got a quote for me? I can't Google it because my phone's up the top. What shall we do? We should do oh, love it, Linda. That's, you know, I have such a bad memory. I get called Dory, so I'm going to go with that. All right, so I'm just going to do, using my black duo marker, make sure that that's working, yes. And I'm going to do what Nat did yesterday, and I'm just going to go just keep, oops, gonna run out of room. We made it. Now I'll dry that, and then I'm going to use the white side and go over it. So thank you for watching. Thanks for playing along with me. I have thoroughly enjoyed doing that. One is brand new, so it needs a bit more, but that's okay. Needs a bit more activation, I think. Need to have a bit more, but that's all right. We're there. Gives it a bit of a shadow. So thank you for watching. Make sure you jump online to nataliemay.com and get your orders in before midnight tonight if you were planning to do so. And make sure that you check out that clearance section. So I will just add a little hand-drawn border around there, but I'm happy with that. That actually, that's how I had it in my mind, and I'm probably gonna go over that white again with something different because it hasn't worked exactly, but I'll use a different pen. So thanks for watching, girls, and thanks for sticking with me. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.